As you can imagine, I'm firstly sad to be with you because of the reason we are all here. On the other side, I feel a great gratitude that we are going all together to celebrate our friend, our beloved friend, and our inspiring teacher also, and our militant comrade. And this is the way I'm going just to say some words. I mean, I'm not going to take minutes of personal life. It's not, I think it's not my duty here. I mean, my duty here is to speak more about what I have in mind from my encounter with David as a personality. As you said, I prefer the footprint, it's better, not the carbon. Yes, because we say that there is a footprint there, and it's very in Greek also we say that it's someone that left a footprint behind. It's not just gone. So we met with Sue and David actually in '87, all of us being students in the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. So I met a very nice couple. We had a very good booze together and so on, but I saw also, I met a guy, for me I was coming from Greece, it's European, not very exciting things. And I met a guy, a fighter, again against the Rhodesian fascists, actually, government and so on. So my first impression was, okay, a co-student, but a fighter against fascism, a fighter for another world also. So this was something that we shared a lot, our common values and views for the society. So from the beginning, my idea for David is that firstly, he's a fighter, he's a very clear socialist. Now here, I'm sorry, but I'm going to make a bracket. In Greece and Europe, when we say socialist, in our minds is Tony Blair or Gerda Schroeder, this kind of social democrats. So we prefer to say communist and I think David was a communist in the way of the spirit, but in the way also of thinking, of philosophy, of values. So he was. This was what I took for him as a first impression. So these values are going deeply in our common interests of care, health care. He was a medical. I am also a doctor. He was a pediatrician. So through this philosophy, this ideology, is infiltrating this ideology in our everyday life as scientists, as pediatrician he was. It was obvious that he was caring with a big care in mind, not only as a curator, but caring for children's health, first of all, population, and generally the population. So this care is marrying our philosophy and our practice. Quickly, I mean, he helped me understand what health is about. So, of course, everything that I'm going to do that quickly, but it is important, the steps of thinking. So health is a social right. So social right means that we have to struggle for this right. And here is a struggle for health. His book, first book, when we were still students. So I have a co-student of mine with all this very clear ideology and struggling, but also a writer of a book speaking about the struggle for health and opening my views, my eyes, but also eyes all over the world with all his work after that, but starting with that, regarding and approaching health in a different way. Social right and struggle for that. It's not given. So it's not given means that we are, of course, living in a society that is full of inequities. And so we have to struggle and to put health in our political and social struggle up in the agenda. Because if we are struggling for health, then we are struggling for another society. And this was a very important issue for me. So, a fighter, a doctor, healthcare, and trying to understand better what is healthcare in the framework of our common goal to change society. Here comes the other identity of David, the academic identity. So, okay, we fight, but we have to fight with evidence. We have to go deep in research. We have to go deep to and try to be good teachers. So this is the great teacher that David was, and he is well known all over the world as a great teacher. This is also the great thinker, academically thinker, not only ideologically and politically, philosophically, but also academically. So he's the combination of academic thinker, researcher, teacher, with the political struggle. And this is very important, I think. And it's very important because I understand that we are speaking also about the future, what we are going to do, what David is asking us to do. I mean, it's obvious. So it is that, okay, this was a species that it is rare, I think, nowadays. I mean, the academic who is not only interested in his papers and in his congresses, but it is the academic who knows that the knowledge is not for closed inside the laboratory of science, of university, or whatever, but the knowledge is to be given to the people and struggle with the people with the weapon of knowledge for changing the society. So this is an academic that it's seldom today, so we have to fight for that also. As for the main topics that David worked, and I was trying to keep up with him, of course, is primary health care. We are going to hear from other friends here. The one thing that I want to correlate with the philosophy is that primary health care is coming as an alternative to the biomedical dominant paradigm, which is still a dominant paradigm in all the globe. And so primary health care is coming with the population involvement in taking decisions about their health, which is the revolutionary, if you want, aspect of this strategy. So David also is, through his books, through his own work, and of course through the movement and People's Health Movement, he's the leader of this movement, trying to involve the people to get their health, their right to health, through the primary healthcare strategy. And this is actually up to recent, as you know, a big fight that he was giving all over the world and in all levels, up to the higher levels of WHO and so on. The last year we had the Astana Declaration, and David was there also fighting against this declaration, even if he was named as other. You know this. You are going to say that, I hope. No? Okay. In Astana Declaration was a WHO declaration. So when you were entering, all the different members were having how you call that? Badge. So you are a member of the Greek delegation, blah, blah, blah. Sanders, other. He was an other. So he was very, I think, both furious, but also he was very proud to be an other for these, institutions. He was really another person, and he had, of course, another vision for the world. So I think that, besides the friendship, because, he was a very sweet person also, and if with the people encounter him, you are feeling, his love and his giving. He was the big teacher, he was a big scientist, and struggling for the changing of the world. So just permission, just a few words, that today, as you know, Unfortunately, we are the proofs. When I was young, I was thinking that history is linear. I mean, every day is a better day than yesterday. Okay, now I know very well that no, this is not the case. Okay, now we are going quickly, I think, all over the world, globally, to medieval capitalism. Okay, medieval, really. We have slavery already all over the world, slavery. Okay, so the struggle is there. First. Secondly, I was saying that in the morning also, we have a lot of evidence regarding health and how health is determined by the social situation, the social context, the social determinants of health. So we know that, we have all of this, so we have the weapons, we have to struggle. So I conclude, as possibly David would say, first of all, that struggle is continuing. So as he was saying, lotta continuing, not looting continuing. Amandla.